Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about how to breed and raise guppies here. I'm going to be covering three major points if you're just getting into the hobby. Lifespan, feeding, basically all you need to successfully raise and breed guppies. So we'll start off with male and female here. So we'll go with the red female and the blue male here. So basically, the way you could tell is there's two different ways, I guess three. So normally females are larger and more round, like this one, because you've got to carry eggs. That you could also use to identify male or female. Here's a male and female right here. Okay, just a quick recap. One on the left, female. One on the right, male. Males are going to have 6 here, and he's chasing her right now. And females are going to have more of that rounded end here. I'm going to go into lifespan here a bit. So right down here at the bottom, it's hard to tell, but there's a bunch of babies. And these are only a couple days old. And then you start getting into about these guys' size, which is about a week or two. And then you got these guys, which are about a month. And then these two are fully grown. Same with that one. But this all depends on one thing, and that's water temperature. This will affect the growth rate as well as how often your fish have babies. So one thing that's recommended for temperature and keeping guppies, they are tropical fish, so you want to keep them between 70 and 80 degrees if you want to have the fish breed more often, and the babies will grow faster. I suggest having it closer to that 80 range. But there's something you gotta be careful about is when you raise the temperature, their metabolism is gonna speed up. So you're gonna have to feed them a lot more often, and they're gonna poop a lot more often. So you're gonna have to do more water changes frequently. I'd say once a week if you have it at a lower temperature. It may vary on how many you have here. This tank's pretty crowded. It's a 20-gallon. I'd say do a 10 to 20, just because the bigger the tank you have, the easier it is to do water changes, as I've found out. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Let's see, feeding. You can feed them general flake food. Or if you want them to grow faster, I suggest feeding them a brine food. Brine shrimp are a good one. Frozen or alive, you can hatch your own brine shrimp. You can make a video on that in the future. But breeding, they kind of breed on their own. You don't have to do a whole bunch. The males are going to chase females around, and as long as you have a decent ratio, you want more females than males. Try and keep it about a 1 to 3 ratio. So for every 2 females you have, you got 1 male, and that'll kind of even out. The females get a chance to rest every once in a while. For babies, let's see, this female right here, all those black dots, sorry about that, all these black dots right here are babies, and so within a month or so, she'll have babies, give live birth, and so you'll get those little guys down here we're talking about. But basically, it'll take roughly 3 to 6 months to reach adulthood. And again, this is depending on temperature. The hotter it is, the faster they'll grow. And they could... Okay, so the first time you're going to have babies in the tank, the parents are most likely going to eat them. That's kind of how it goes. So I recommend having live plants for any tank, whether you have babies or not. It's a good thing. So we got Amazon sword here. I suggest getting Java moss, which is this stuff right here. You can use Java ferns, other stuff like that, and that will basically give a spot for your babies to hide as they grow up. Okay, for aeration and heating, nothing crazy. I don't really have a big tank here, so I got a heater back there, which is what you want, 70 between 80 degrees. And then you have an aerator down here. It doesn't have to be real big. Okay, so I was gonna show you the filter, or not the filter, the air pump back there, but it doesn't really matter because you can't really see it anyway. But this right here, this is a baby breeding net. So what you can do is attach that onto the inside of your aquarium. So this is going to be in the water, and you'll catch all the little babies who are small enough to be eaten, and you'll put them in there. And that way, once they're big enough, you could take them out, and so they'll be able to run around. That's if you want to get more babies out of it. Let's say you are housing a fancy type of guppy. So these are white platinums in here. There's the female and the male. So if you want to get a higher yield and you don't want the babies to get eaten, you can use a breeding net. Okay, I'm going to touch a little bit on feeding again, about flakes or brine or bloodworms or whatever you want to feed them. Try and feed them in the morning, at night, twice a day. Don't feed them too much. It's better to underfeed than to overfeed. Just feed what your fish could eat in a certain amount of time. And I'll go over a little bit of behavior right now. So this right here, there are some females that are chilling up back there. So this normally means two things. Is this female could either be pregnant and be ready to have babies soon. So when a female's pregnant, she'll stop swimming around, go find a spot to hide in the tank somewhere, and she'll have her babies down there. Or this could mean that they're acting lethargic, and you need to do a water change. So water changes, if you don't know how to do that, is you normally have a siphon, and you'll siphon out the water. Basically you just want to make sure that you do about 20%. So get the water down to here, probably. And the reason why is because you're putting tap water most likely into the tank, which isn't really that good for them. And so you don't want to go all the way down here and then fill it back up. That's really bad for them. You want to put water back in. You want it to be around the same temperature, not to shock your fish. You could also, if you really want to, there's Start Right. You put that in there. That's a good way for new aquariums. If you have just tank set up, no fish in there, you just filled it, put some of that in there and let it sit for a couple days. You gotta let the water build up that bacteria that's good and helpful in breaking down their poop pretty much, and that'll make it so that you could have fish in there. Okay, so I was kind of jumping all over the place there, touching on as much as I could. I guess we talk about filters a little bit. Here. So this is a hang on the back filter. I actually don't have it turned on right now, and this is because of all the babies. So you don't want your babies getting, but it's optional, up to you. Sponge filters are basically just, you have an air stone inside this sponge pad, and then you got a little base at the bottom, and that'll provide some filtration, and it's good for keeping the water aerated and stuff like that. Okay, I guess we could talk a little bit more about the babies here, but when a mom has a baby, depending on her size, is normally how many babies she'll get. So the first time they have babies, they might have 3 to 5, or you could end up getting around 20 or so. So it really just depends on your females, how big they are. That also depends on feeding, what type of food you're feeding them. Like I said, brine, you'll get them really big. You're going to get a lot of babies out of each female that you get. Okay, and that about wraps it up, I think. I tried to touch on anything. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you.